I mentioned Glenn and how you feel about her, and Merle, who you worked with before. Is there anything to be said about how a cast gets along together on a film having anything to do with the success of a film?
I'd like to say yes.
I know, but the answer is no. That's what I thought.
I think the answer is no.
I do too.
I think there can be chemistry between two actors who hate each other. I've fortunately never had that experience. It's much nicer if you all get on.
Now, did you and De Niro get along on The Mission?
Not to start with, no.
Yeah. There was, what, tension?
A lot of tension. He, I think, would have been very happy for a much older actor to have played it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an English actor. I think a lot of American actors are wary of English actors because we have a sort of style, a sort of apparent technique. We talk the way we do. And,
yes.
you know, I think that puts a lot of American actors off. And it wasn't until about halfway through the picture that I think Bobby and I realized that we were both doing the same thing. We were both just gnawing the apple from a different side, but actually we were getting to the core of the same apple. And we used that in the relationship. And so by the time we became friends in the picture, we had become friends as people.
How do you think do you think he approaches acting differently than you do? I mean, we all know about his obsessive sense of wanting to know the character and do anything. I mean, from Raging Bull to all the things in terms of all the stuff. Does he approach it any differently? I mean, do you have any sense of that? You two very distinguished actors approach this craft in a very different way.
He mulls things over much more than I do.
And you do?
I tend to play it off the cuff more.
Yeah. Relying on
instinct.
what?
Instinct. I mean, I would say that I probably come to decisions quicker than Bobby.
Is that
it doesn't
because
mean
of the
I
training you had?
Maybe. I don't think I necessarily come to better decisions than him. I mean, I think he's the greatest film actor in the world. I think he's wonderful.
Stop. The single greatest film actor in the world?
Now. Yeah, I think so. It's very invidious to say that sort of thing, but I'm a huge admirer of him.
And why would you say it? What is it that he does that you find so much to be admired? I mean, can you, other than the fact that he takes a role and makes something that's so extraordinary out of it?
He makes his characters very different. He is completely immersed in them. I see nothing of him there. It was very interesting working with him because he does take a while to make any decision, even if it's where should we go for dinner. And yet I went to see his picture the other day, The Bronx Tale.
Yeah, right.
What a picture. Why wasn't that nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah.
I mean, that had to be up there, surely, even, you know, for Best Director. I thought, wonderful, wonderful work, purely on the casting. I mean, tremendous cast, just so exact, all people who were fresh to us in the main. Beautiful locations, great soundtrack, and a lovely story. So that's an example of a picture which you would imagine would be hailed and which sort of, you know, came and was enjoyed by some people and went.
And got
that's timing. But I actually
good
saw it
reviews,
twice.
not enthusiastic reviews.
That's right. I sat through it one night, and the next night I thought, I want to see that again. And I sat through it again, which I rarely do.
And when you do you do it because you saw something that you wanted to know more about?
I was just so amazed that this was the first picture he directed. And I realized watching it that that's why he's such a good actor, because he takes such time and care over making each individual choice. Because that's all acting is, really. It's making a choice at every moment. You know, how do you play each line? How do you... It's a performance is a mass of individual choices. And Bobby takes such care with all of his.
Yeah. But I have read you say something that was intriguing to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, or if somebody just got it wrong, is that acting is there are 4 or 5 in a film. There are 4 or 5 instances where you really have to act, where you really require great acting. The rest of it is kind of just being.
I think that's true. I think that's true in the main.
4 scenes, 4 moments, 4 something.
That's right, which are really... It depends, of course, on the film. One can't generalize. But an awful lot of the time you're just acting naturally, which is not...
Just moving the story along.
That's right, which is not that easy. You only have to put somebody who's never appeared in front of a camera before and say to them, just, you know, cross that room. And you think, oh, God. And you realize that, you know, there is more to it than than really what I'm saying. But as far as needing to pull something out of the bottom of your soul, those sort of moments, they never come more than 4 or 5.
This is the stupidest question I've ever asked. What is this thing called acting? What is this thing? I mean, you're exactly right. You put a camera in front of somebody and say, read this, and then put it in front of an actor. I mean, what?
I don't know. It's concentration, it's relaxation, it's playing, being able to play. Kids do it all the time. Yeah. It's being able to immerse yourself in something else and to ignore all of that and to take yourself into a different skin.